how do you create some demand for the seller while lifting the confidence of the seller that there's something out there for him or her to buy? Because as you said, the thing that's creating this inertia is I'm not selling my house because I don't think I can get anything else.
Correct. Yeah. It is. And it's really what we're trying to do is create the confidence is there in the seller already. They're all very well aware that they could sell for a really good price right now. So now we want to create a similar confidence in their eyes that they could buy something.
Right.
So and especially, and I'm only addressing the luxury because that's what you and I do best. So,
Okay.
and I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm just going to work at a market that we're working in right now is Rancho Santa Fe. And $3 million is kind of that, I hate to say this, kind of the lower end of the luxury market. That's just a fact. And
Absolutely.
10 million is the upper end.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're looking at is we're targeting, we broke up the home values in Rancho Santa Fe by $5, $10, and $15 million. And there's about 500 homes in each. And so what we're going to do, I'm sorry, that's not true. There's 500 homes, 10 million and over, 2,600 homes. I'm just going by my memory here at 3 million and over. And so what we're trying, there's two strategies. First of all, I think that there is somewhat of a myth that there's nothing available. So absolutely publishing with our market report, we're taking this particular agent, it's just a brilliant agent, and we're actually mailing the statistics. Oh, did you know 14 new houses came on the market last month? Because all the chatter is nothing is available.
Right.
And then we're going to educate the seller. Look, give us a call. Let us talk about how you could have had one of these homes and what needs to happen. And then that conversation, I'm just going to be educational here. That conversation needs to be very clear and blunt that if you're going to go put an offer on a house in there right now, it's full price. And if you can do it without contingencies, you're good. I'm not a fan of that, just from the seller's or from the buyer's point of view, but a full price offer. And it's got to be quick. I'll give you an example. There was a home. I don't know if we should use, I'm going to use my own example. So I looked at a home, an investment property, and I showed up on the Sunday open house at 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, there were 16 people lined up to try and get in this open house. By the end of the day, it was sold. So I put a tickler file in the MLS, and a listing came up on Thursday. An hour later, I was at the agent's office. We went to the house and I gave him a full price offer because what I was trying to do was avoid them putting it on the open house on Saturday because the same thing would have happened. So the sellers have to have a strategy or an agent that stands behind them that understands that this is how we're going to play this game right now. It's not about let's look at it 2 or 3, 4 times and put an offer in because it's going to be long gone. I have another client in Salt Lake City looking to buy a $600,000 house, which is a nice home in Salt Lake City, right? And I tried to coach her, and she's an agent. I'm like, 3 houses she didn't get. I said, so what'd you do? Oh, I went in 10 on the list asked. I go, well, and what happened? It didn't happen, right? So she finally got the house under contract, full price offer, and made it instantly, like right away.
Yeah.
So that's the strategy once you have it.
Let's unpack that a little bit because I think the 2 situations that you described are exactly what people think is happening. And for the faint of heart, that's just not a place where they want to play.
Right.
But you did say something that I think is really important. First is education, okay? That we tend to, as people, just make these sweeping generalizations. And so from the real estate professional standpoint, they're not coming into this home via literally or figuratively with direct mail, where people don't already have an opinion. They do. And their opinion is there's nothing out there for me to buy.
Correct.
So if we accept that notion going in and the agent themselves feel powerful enough to impact that scenario, your suggestion was making first, and it's a great one, right? Break it down. Luxury is a buy-up market, period.
Yep.
So if that's the case, right, everywhere you turn, that's what it is. Because it's the case that it's a buy-up market, you have to break the market up into here's where you are, here's where you're going to buy up to, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
And so talk a little bit further about that. And Rancho Santa Fe is, look, I mean, it's it's pretty specific, but when I think about the strategies of if there's 2,600 homes at 3 million plus, what are you doing with those 2,600 homes then?
So we broke them up into 3 to 5, 5 to, I think 5 to 8 or 5 to 10, and then 10 and above. And so now what we want to do is actually mail to the both. Watch this, because there are a certain amount of luxury sellers who wouldn't mind a nice house, but don't want 7,000 square feet anymore.
Right.
And there's a lot of that going on. You and I have talked about this for years, right? And coming off the 2-story into the 1-story, there's a lot that's still always going to happen. So what if we took the $3 million, we know that there's the $3 million value, and we took those homes or sent them a mailer and said, look, if you're interested in selling, I have potentially 500 different homeowners that would consider buying your home. Now that seller wants to hear that, but let's reverse the message and go to the $5 million seller and say, look, let's send something out saying that you're interested in their home. Now I'm going to tell you, I did this because I went to the community that I wanted to buy this house in, and there was nothing available, or it was flying off on Sunday in an hour and a half. There's only 503 homes in that community. I mailed to all 503 homeowners and got 5 people to call me saying, I'd be interested in selling. Wait a second, there's nothing on the market. So we used very convincing language that that I was a serious buyer, right? I wasn't playing games. It wasn't fluffy. It was really to the point. But again, I got 5 calls. Now we ended up buying a unit in there that we wanted, and we referred the 5 people that called us to the agent that sold me the house for a referral fee, which was brilliant, right? But it was a great thing. But back to your other strategy, I think that if we can go to the luxury market and indicate to them, first of all, education, that there are 14 houses did come on the market last month and they sold, and that there are 500 homeowners out there that potentially would love to own your home. And what home would you like to own? If I could sell your home, what home would you like to buy? Let me send this same letter to that homeowner. So if you're a $5 million seller and you want a $10 million house, tell you what, let's look at who we can get to buy yours, put them on hold, and it's not going to be long. We're talking 30 days. And let me send the same letter to the $10 million seller and see if we can make a match. Now, the beauty of this is that there's like 3 sides to this deal that's going to happen for the agent, right? You got one house, you got a second house, you got the third house. I don't know that the $10 million seller, just in my experience, and you may have the same experience, Diane, is the $10 million seller. Unfortunately, I have to say, a lot of times that's a second home, and it's one of 3 or 4. So they may not be looking for another $15 million home. They may be looking to just hang out in Aspen for a while.